Okay, so without wasting much time, so let's start. I'm Dr. Malar here. So I don't think I need to introduce myself a lot. It's just that I do a lot of trainings on quantitative and a little bit on qualitative and DDR. Okay, that's a little bit about myself. So let's get started with our topic. There's a lot to discuss and a lot to cover. So we will go slow. Okay, my class is always very interactive. If you have any question, you can always stop me and ask me. During my sharing, yeah, I don't really like to see the chat box. So if you have something in chat box, you can let me know, or otherwise you can just unmute yourself and ask me. Okay. So are we ready to start?
Yes, Doctor.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Doctor.
Doctor.
I
Yes,
have
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Yes.
Okay, I have a few, I think, foreign students here. So mostly I will be using English. And if and all I use Bahasa, I will repeat that in English. So foreign students, don't worry. Yeah. So most of it will be in English. Okay. Okay. So many of us have, many of my students here have started their journey in. Okay. Can you see? Is it big enough? Is it a full screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Doctor.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Prof. Full screen.
Okay, so many of y'all have started PhD, many of y'all are doing quite well, but unfortunately, some of y'all are struggling because every day I receive a lot of messages saying that, doctor, I am stuck, doctor, I don't know how to move on, doctor, I feel like giving up, doctor, I feel like I want to quit. So that is the reason why, because the students who usually message me are students who are already halfway through, okay? They are either in SEM 3, SEM 4, SEM 5, SEM 6. Even I have students in semester 8, semester 9 messaging me. They have not even cleared their proposal defense. Okay. So that is why I thought, like, this September, October, many students just started their PhD or Masters by Research. So I thought today is the right time for me to touch a little bit on what you have to know before you start your PhD, or if you are halfway through but you are stuck, you don't know how to move, please don't quit. Quitting is always not the best option. The best option is that just stop for a while and then re-look at what you have done and what you have not done, and then just gear up, right? So we didn't start PhD to quit, we start PhD to complete. So you don't have to quit for any reason, right? So maybe you're stuck because you don't know how to move, where you are and what to start. So that is what we are going to cover today. Okay. Okay. So the first thing in PhD is that one mistake that many students do is that when you start your PhD, especially if you're in quantitative, doesn't matter whether you're quantitative, qualitative, or DDR. The first thing is that the mistake you do is that you straight away start writing. You try to write. Okay, so that's not the right way to start research. Yeah, for why we cannot straight away start writing? You registered and then immediately you have a topic, and then you try to go and get a few sample theses from your friends or seniors, and then you start writing. Why I feel that that's not the right way. Why? Hello, are you all there? We have 96 participants today.
Could you, Prof, please elaborate the question because maybe we did not get it.
Okay, when you start your PhD, why is it that it's not the right way? Immediately when you start your PhD, you start writing your thesis. That means you start writing your chapter 1.
Because we don't have enough paper now. The idea is still not clear, Prof.
Yes.
And
you
also
don't
the research have to be, they want to choose either quantitative or qualitative or mixed. We have to decide it from beginning. If I'm not wrong, Doctor.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, for me, I think no direction as it is, no direction.
So what happened when you don't have a direction, like what our friends say? What happened when we don't have a clear direction is that we will write, we will delete. we will write, we will delete, and this process will go on for few semesters. And that is where after some time you get tired of writing and deleting, you will decide, I want to quit. Right? So please don't do this mistake. I'm not discouraging you, yeah? Right? Always the mistake many students are doing is that once you register, you go hunting. Hunting for what? You hunt for thesis, other people's thesis. Yes, you can refer to other person's thesis, looking at how they wrote it, what is the format like, how many chapters, this and that. But you can't use other people's thesis to write our thesis. Their area of research is different. Our area of research is different. Their justification for selecting their topic is different. Ours will be different. Okay. So the first thing that you should do is that start reading. Okay. And many people don't invest in reading. So miracles don't happen. Okay. Miracles don't happen. When you start your PhD straight away, you want to start right. I usually will say when you can start writing your thesis is actually after 4 months. So what do you do with the first 4 months? Most of the time, if my students come for personal coaching with me, right, I don't allow them to write their thesis until 4 months. So in the first 4 months after you register for your PhD, what do you do in the first 4 months? What do you do?
Read the literature review, the past literature review.
Yes, you have to read. You start your analysis. Analysis doesn't start only in chapter 4, yeah? So mostly chapter 1 is introduction, chapter 2 is your literature review, chapter 3 is your research methodology, chapter 4 is your data analysis, chapter 5 is your finding and discussion. So chapter 4 is your data analysis, but our analysis doesn't start in chapter 4. It starts before you start your writing your thesis. In fact, once you register for your postgraduate, doesn't matter PhD, DBA or EDD or even a master's by research, you are a researcher. So what is the work of a researcher? What is the work of a researcher?
Find the
Find a
research
problem and the
Yeah.
research gap.
Researcher is doing research. So doing research is what? Doing analysis. You need to analyze. What do you analyze? You need to analyze data. What data? Data, we have many data, many types of the data. So the initial stage is that the initial stage for you to start your PhD is your reading. You have to read. So when you read, you're analyzing. You have to analyze what you read. Well, you have to understand what people have done. Where is the gap? Where is the trend? Where is the pattern? What exactly I want to narrow down? What I want to focus? All these comes through your reading. So the first 4 months of your study, we call it as preliminary study. Okay, we call that as a preliminary study. So preliminary study is very important. Many people don't do preliminary study. Straight away, you will start writing your chapter 1. Even that is actually wrong. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is a preliminary study. What exactly I have to do in a preliminary study, I will explain in a short while. Yeah, all the steps first. Let me admit these people. Okay, so your roadmap to a PhD starter. Okay, first you just start. So upon starting your journey as a researcher, right? So first of all, go and meet your SV. Don't always wait for your SV to call you, because some SVs are different. People, we are all human beings, whether we are professors or whether we are lecturers or whether we are students. One common thing about us is that all of us are human beings, right? We all have our own chemistry. Okay, so sometimes students will say, oh, my SV never called me. And your SV will say, oh, my student didn't call me. So how long are we going to play this hide and seek game, right? So you as a student, you are the one who have to go and look for your supervisor. So once you have registered, try to build a good relationship with your supervisor. So try to meet your supervisor, and then again, after a long gap, you're coming back to your study, right? So this thing looks very, very like, like very kick kind of thing, but it's important, yeah? So some of y'all, I have students who have registered for PhD for 6 months, they never do anything. So I asked them, why you haven't started? No, I'm just moving to a new house. I'm trying to build my study room. I'm trying to get my wardrobe. I'm trying to get my study table. For 6 months, the same excuses. Okay. So can't you study without a study room? Can you study without a study room? Can or cannot?
Cannot, doctor.
Can, doctor. Can, doctor.
Right.
Can.
Can. If you say I can only study with a study room, I think that is the worst excuse you can give for not starting lah. If you say that, I won't blame anybody. I will only blame you for giving excuses for not starting. Okay. So now world has changed. What you need is just a laptop. Am I right?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. When you have a laptop, you can study anywhere. You can study in a MACD, you can study in a KFC, you can study in airport. Believe me, when I was doing my PhD, that time I'm actually basically I'm a corporate trainer. So that's my career for past 20 years. So my main job is a corporate trainer. So I travel a lot to overseas, right? So when I was doing my PhD, that time I was really traveling a lot. I hardly have time to be at home. Most of the time I'm traveling. So any time when the flight is cancelled, I'll be the happiest because once they announce the flight rescheduled, delayed, I will just find a spot in the airport, a quiet spot, and then I'll go and sit there for a few hours and then start writing. So don't give excuse. Just find a spot in your house. Don't tell me it's your house. You don't even have a small spot for you to start your writing and reading and things like that. Okay. So first week, start cleaning up, dusting your table, get all your stationeries and start. Because you are coming to your studies after quite some time. I know the gear will be very slow. So get energized, have a clean spot and things like that. That is step number 1. Step number 2, introspection. So start thinking about your research area. You don't need a study table to sit down and start thinking about your research area. Once you register for your PhD, start thinking, man. While you're driving, start thinking. While you are taking your shower, start thinking. While you're cooking, start thinking what I want to do. And please don't go and meet your supervisor and ask your supervisor, I don't have a topic, please give me a topic. Is that a good idea? Is that a good idea? Asking your supervisor for a topic.
No.
No, dear prof. No, dear prof. He'll be very upset.
Definitely no.
Those who have attended my classes, some of you all are my past students here. You know, right? What I will always tell you, if you ask a topic from your supervisor, maksud dia apa? My old students should know what example I'll always give you all.
Better don't do PhD.
No lah, janganlah, I'm not so bad. No, it's like putting your hand inside a crocodile mouth. When you ask a topic from your supervisor, prof, I don't have a topic to do my PhD, but I want to do PhD. Can you give me your topic? It's just like putting your hand inside a crocodile mouth. If you put your hand inside a crocodile mouth, what will come out? Will your hand come out?
No.
Nothing will come out. Even you will go in, right? So, because remember, your professor or your supervisor also have his preferred area, right? And you definitely will have your own preferred area. Can you do PhD in a topic that you don't like to do? You like?
It will be very difficult.
Yes. Okay. Who's this? Ganesh. It took me 10 months to fix a PhD topic. Wow, that's pretty long. You should have met me earlier, Ganesh. Right? Okay. So what is important here is that, okay, who is going to do your PhD? You are going to do your research or your supervisor is doing your research? It's you, right? You are the one who's doing your research, right? If you are doing your research, who is the master of your research? It's you, not your supervisor. So the topic must be of something of your interest, not your supervisor's interest, right? Because your supervisor's role here is not to write your thesis. He's just there to guide you on the structure, right? On the way to do what are the steps. If you are lucky lah, Sometimes if you are not lucky, you won't even get that help from your supervisor, yeah. Basically, I was an independent researcher, right? I can count how many times I met my supervisor in the entire study period, yeah. So the most important thing is that you should enjoy doing what you are doing. So your topic must be relevant to you. It should come from your experience. It should come from your exposure, something that you have observed for long, and something you feel that of your interest, not someone else's interest. Two mistakes students do. One, asking your supervisor, prof, please suggest a topic. That's the greatest mistake. Second, following your friends. Oh, my friend is doing on AI, so I also want to do on AI. Yes, your friend want to do in AI because your friend has exposure in AI, but you don't. So your friend won't struggle, but you will struggle. Remember, your entire life as a researcher in your PhD journey, you have to marry that particular topic which you have selected. So halfway through, you opt, you're going to ask another big change, right? So always when you get your topic, so make sure you start thinking what is your focus area all about, okay? Second, the third is now you start, okay? First week, you cleaned up your table and everything. Second week, you start thinking about your topic. This is about 3 weeks, 3 weeks for you to start thinking about your topic, reading about your topic, going, understanding how to read, where to find journals, where to find articles, right? Just download any papers and then about your focus area, your interested area, and start reading. And then just scribble around, just highlight things. Oh, this guy has spoken about this. Oh, this guy is looking at it from this perspective. So you start getting yourself familiar with the terminologies, what's happening in your area. Okay, so now we already have 1 month gone. Okay, 1 week here, 3 weeks here, 4 weeks done. Okay, after that, we go to the third step, your gear 1. So what is gear 1? Getting ready to meet your experts in your area. Okay, who are my experts? Industrial experts. Why do you need to meet the industrial expert? Why do you have to meet industrial expert? This is one mistake most of us don't do. Okay, first thing, I know what you all will usually do. Once you register, you will try to get a topic, and then straight away you start writing your chapter 1. Okay, so that is the first thing that you should never ever do, because when you do that, your chapter 1 will not be strong. So these are the students will keep changing their chapter 1 because they don't have a clear path. So the most important thing is that after you start, read, have a focus area and read at least 40 to 50 papers and start doing mapping. Later, I'll show you one simple template, what you should do. Yeah, start doing mapping. So when you start map, you will start understanding. Okay, example lah, sekejap ya. Okay, 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Can you see this template? Can you all see this?
Yes, Excel Prof,
Yes,
yes, we
that's
can see.
clear.
Yeah, it's an Excel. So just make a simple template like this. So initial stage in that 3 weeks, once you have a focus area is very important. Focus, remember, focus area is not a topic, it's your area. Example, I wanted to do something on performance. So that is my focus area, performance. So maybe you want to do something on sustainability. So your focus area will be on sustainability or risk management or CSR or AI generation, whatever. So have a focus area and go and download at least 30 to 50 papers and latest papers. All must be latest 5 years papers. If possible, 3 years papers will be even much better. The last 3 years, okay, example, now is 2025. So you download 23, 24, 25 papers, 3 years, and then start reading. So you don't have to read in depth yet, shallow reading. So just understand who's the author, what is the title of the paper, what journal, which country is the paper from, and in that paper, who are the respondents, what methodology did they use, did they do DDR, did they do qualitative or quantitative or quasi, mixed method, what methodology did they employ, what are the trends and patterns you observed in that paper, and what is the research gap in that paper, okay? So you start. And what recommendation did the author give? The person who wrote the paper, what recommendation did the author give? And then you start writing a little bit of notes. So each paper when you read, you will get some clue. You're getting closer to your research topic. So what was interesting about the paper? Put it into your notes. So tell me guys, if you do this for about 50 papers, does your knowledge get better, clearer now, or is going to be the same?
Better and clearer lah.
More clear.
You're clear. So after you read the 50 papers, you exactly will know what's happening in your area. Most of the time, we don't know what to do because we don't read, right? So we don't read. And sometimes you are very stuck with a topic. You come with a topic, you know, oh, doctor, I want to do this. You haven't started, and you just registered for your PhD. You already say, doctor, I want to do qualitative. Okay, doctor, I want to do quantitative. It's not like that. You cannot decide whether you want to do qualitative, quantitative, right? It depends on the topic and what has been done in the topic. Not all the topics you can do qualitative, and not all the topics you can do a quantitative, right? So that is why once you have a focus area, start reading. So when you start reading, when you finish the 50 papers, right, 40 to 50 papers, you will start seeing majority of the papers in these 3 years, they are doing quantitative, or they are doing qualitative, or they are doing DDR, or they are doing quasi. And what was the recommendation? Sometimes authors will say, they recommend us to do quantitative, or they recommend us to do a DDR, or they recommend us to do a qualitative. So that will give us some guidance, okay? Azrina, paper above 2023 cannot put into our this. Definitely, that is what we want. Azrina, right?
But
The
Prof,
latest-
that doesn't depend on the problem itself to choose the qualitative or quantitative or mix.
Yeah, that's why I said you need to read the paper. So when you read the paper, you understand the gap, then you will know whether you want to do a qualitative, quantitative, and that paper has been done in which method. Did they do in quantitative or qualitative or DDR? So all the research gap and the patterns will give you an idea whether you should go into a quali or quanti or DDR or quasi or whatever. Not that, but the problem now with some students is that they are coming in without no topic, but immediately they say, no, I only want to do a qualitative. That's not the right approach. What if your topic doesn't suit a qualitative or doesn't suit a quantitative? Then you will struggle. Okay? Clear, class? Class, are you all okay?
Yes, Prof. Yes, clear, Prof. Clear.
Yes, doctor.
I know when I'm talking to y'all will start thinking about the mistakes y'all do, right?
Betul.
Yes, no?
Exactly, doctor.
Ya. Tak apalah. Terkenangkan dosa-dosa sikit, nanti boleh betulkan ya. Okay. Sorry Azrina, Ken. But certain places, we can only use 5 years. Like, but when you are explaining about theory, and then when you're explaining about evolution, all that old papers can use. But when you're explaining about certain part, we like, especially like research gap, literature gap, all that we need specifically within 5 years. So when your citations are very old, during your PD or Viva, they'll ask you to go and find new citations. Okay. Okay. So this is a rough template. So this template will actually help us to start looking into our area more clearly. Okay. Okay, back here.
If we use AI, can doctor?
I'm not an AI person, and I don't encourage people to do AI. But if you're comfortable, please go ahead. No worries on that. But make sure you verify whatever the AI is giving, whether it's right or wrong, yeah. Because sometimes AI also gives us papers which doesn't exist, or information which doesn't exist. So just counter check that.
Okay.
Again, I'm seriously, I'm not against using AI, but I don't use, and I don't encourage my students to use. But if you're comfortable, because now you have so many reliable AI tools as well, if you're comfortable, you feel that is faster, but again, take charge. Don't always listen to AI, take charge. You prompt and instruct AI what to give you, but you always have to counter check whether it's giving you the right information or not, okay? Okay, so once we have this, right? Once you have completed reading about 40 to 50 papers in 3 weeks, now do you think that you are ready to meet industrial expert? Okay, now question is that, what is industrial expert? For many of y'all, when I say industrial expert, this thing comes like something new, right? I'm sure you have never heard about industrial expert, right? Correct? Hello? Are you all there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So for many of y'all, you don't do industrial need analysis in the beginning of your research at all. So for those who have joined my framework class, theoretical framework development, so that is sometimes my students say, Doctor, this is the first time we are hearing about this. Okay, why I say that in the initial stage, you need to go and meet your industrial expert. Okay, when you read the 50 papers in step 2, when you read the 50 papers in your step 2, the papers mostly come from your country or not? Do the papers come from your country?
No.
Not at all.
Worldwide.
Right?
No, no,
Not
no.
at all.
So it comes from different countries. And you're reading, and the gap that you are writing, are the gap from your country? No, right? It also comes from the paper. If the paper doesn't come from your country, the gap also doesn't come from your country. But where are you doing your thesis? In your country or another person's country?
Our
No
country.
country.
So
In
now
my country.
now the gap that you identified from the literature, does that gap suit 100% to your country's gap?
No.
No. So this is
No.
where many of us doing a big mistake, because we 100% rely on literature, and the literature is not 100% from our country. Okay, example, I'm from Malaysia. So majority of the papers that I read, they are not from Malaysia. They are from European countries, Australia, Japan, China, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, So basically, I'm understanding the gap from different countries, not from my country. But I'm doing my thesis in my country. My research is in my country. So how do I relate the gap from other country to my country? Some of it, yes, some of it, the gap is same everywhere. But majority of the gap may not apply in in the context of my country. So what should I do? In order for me to have a better understanding what is going on in my country, example, Malaysia, right? So in order for me to understand what is going on in the industries from a Malaysian context, what should I do? How will I get information? What is happening in the industries that I want to do my research in Malaysia? How do I know what is going on in Malaysia? If let's say my research is in Malaysia, what do I do? I need to
Is
speak
it
to
like,
somebody.
yeah, is it like, Prof, like send the questionnaire for the industrial expert to filter what might suit for what might suit?
Yeah, so basically I need to go and meet some industrial experts, right?
Yeah, correct.
From my
Yes,
country, from my industry. Okay, example, my thesis I did in SME, okay, small medium enterprise in Malaysia. So the experts that I need to go in gear 1, this is I'm talking about now. Right now I'm in gear 1, right? So the industries that I need to go and meet, the expert must come from SME, because I want to do my research in SME. I cannot simply go and meet any expert out there, right? So example, in my thesis, I was working on manufacturing companies, but I was working on medium manufacturing companies, which are classified under SME Malaysia. So my experts must be from SME. Why I cannot meet anybody from manufacturing? Okay, tell me, is SME manufacturing and MNC manufacturing, are the contexts the same?
Not the same.
Different.
Different. So that's why I need to narrow down. When I say gear 1, I need to go and meet experts from my area, means you need to narrow down to your scope of research. So my scope of research was SME, specifically manufacturing enterprises. So I have, can you all please mute? Can you all help me to mute, please? Okay, so basically, I have to meet experts from my area. So how many experts? Between 5 to 9 experts. Okay, and what do I do? So what do I do? Class, please don't scribble here, please. Okay, right? So what do I do? So most important is that when I go and meet the experts, I need, this is the first industrial need analysis that I'm going to do. So that is the reason why before going and meeting experts from your selected industry, you need to read. You know, I told you to read first, not meet the expert right away. So that's why after you register for your PhD, you take about 3 weeks to start reading about 40 to 50 papers. After that only you go and meet your expert. Why? Why is that after I register, I cannot go and meet the experts directly? Okay.
Maybe to impress him and give him an idea that I'm aware about what I'm and will go through.
Yeah. Okay. First thing, when you are meeting experts, when you are meeting your industrial experts, they are experts in the industry. Yeah. So usually these people are all high ranking people, the CEO or the head of departments or the managers who know a lot about what's happening in the industry. So the first stage of experts will be from higher level. So these are the people who will know what's happening in the industry, what has happened in the industry, what is currently happening in the industry, and what they foresee is going to happen in the future, right? So they are high level. And they also, when you approach them, definitely you have to tell them that you are doing your research, you are doing your PhD or something like that. So will they also have high expectation on you? You are going as a PhD student, you're not going as a normal student. You're going there as a researcher, as a PhD student. Well, the expert also will have high expectation on you.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes,
Definitely.
Prof.
Of course. So you cannot go there without having any idea of what you are doing. So that is the reason why I want you to read about 40 to 50 papers to have your surface level understanding about the area. And from the papers that you read, you will already have, that's why I say introspection. Yeah? You will start thinking loud. What exactly I'm going to talk to the expert, what kind of information that I need to extract from them. Example, I'm going to ask them about the challenges that they face, what kind of help they want from researchers, what are the area that they are focusing now, what will be their needs in future. So I will start contemplating on this question. So I will actually prepare my, okay, let me show you, yeah. Okay, something like this, okay. Why it's not coming? Just give me a minute, yeah. Just 1 minute. I don't know why I can't show the form. Okay, I'll show you later. I'm not sure why I can't show the form. It's not opening. Okay. So when you meet the industrial experts, right, you must have form. Okay, can you see this form?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, so you must come out with a
Yes,
form
yes.
like this, a basic form. So usually the best number for you to go and meet is between 5 to 5 to 9 or 5 to 10 experts lah, you know, so not too many as well. Okay. So when you meet them, definitely you have to ask them questions. So this will be, so you need to come out with questions like this. So how do I come out questions like this is from your reading. So from your reading, you will start thinking loud, you know, what kind of questions that I'm going to ask the experts. Okay. Okay, so once we have meet the experts and then you start doing your analysis preliminary report number 4. So you have met about 5 experts or 10 experts, then you start doing your preliminary report. So you analyze whatever answers that you have collected, we will analyze them. Class, meeting your experts is called as industrial need analysis. This is called as industrial need analysis. We can actually do this and then report it in your chapter 1 after your background of the study. So we are not doing this just for fun, okay? We do this seriously. So when you are writing your chapter 1, we can actually report this in your chapter 1 and it carries a lot of weight. This is first time that I have introduced this industrial need analysis. So far, I've never heard anyone talking about industrial need analysis as in the context of a preliminary study. So I have come out with a new acronym for this called as FITWIC. So FITWIC means is 7 steps process to do a preliminary study. So the second step is actually called as an industrial need analysis. So I have started introducing FITWIC from early of this year. So some of my students who have used FITWIC and done an industrial need analysis, they went for their PD and they also went for Viva. So they got a very good remark from the examiner saying that it's actually very, very good that they have done that because they can see clearly what are the industrial needs and they align their research to the industrial needs. Okay. So this report will take about 2 weeks. So once you have done your preliminary report, then after that, you go into your theory mapping. So when you do your preliminary report, you basically will start knowing what is your DB. Through your preliminary, through your reading and through your preliminary, industrial need analysis, you will start identify what is your DB. Okay, in quantitative research, which one is more important? You have to identify your IV first or your DB first?
DV.
DB. Because DB is the problem that we are trying to solve. So you start with the DB. We don't start with the IV. Your DB is the one who will determine the predictors which are your IV. So we cannot start with your IV. We have to start with your DB. So now doing a first literature review and then meeting your industrial experts, this 2 steps is actually to fine tune your DB. Once you finish these 2 steps, when you come to step number 4, you already know exactly what will your DB be. So once you have your DB, you can move to step number 5. Step number 5 is that based on the DB, you can start finding your theory. So if your quantitative theory is very important because that is basically what we are doing. We are testing our theory. So your variable must align to your theory. Okay, so your variables must align to your theory. That's very important. Yeah, you cannot simply go and take variables from various papers and then it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You're doing like a jigsaw puzzle. You take variables from various papers and then you try to put it in and then find theory and then you will come and tell me, doctor, I don't know how to find a theory because your variables are coming from various types of theory. So that's not a very good method. I always call that as a Tarzan method. So the proper way of finding a theory is that find your DB first and then using your DB, find the theory. Okay, so that is what we call as a theory mapping. In fact, I usually use an Excel sheet to do a theory mapping. So the Excel sheet, something like this. Okay, so example, if my DB is employee performance. Okay, can you see the Excel? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Prof.
Yes.
Example, my DB is employee performance. Now I go and look for papers on employee performance and all the papers which have used employee performance, I see what theory that they have used. So example, Ali 2023, he has used SCT, right? Okay, and then Dottie 2024, she has used SLT. So Max has used TRV. David has used SET and LMX. So I'll go on reading about employee performance from various papers, and I will start reporting all the theories that they have used. And then I have auto-formatted. So from down here, as I do this, I can see the frequency already, right? Which is the most widely used theory to study my DV, which is employee performance. So this step is very, very important because this is how you actually select the best theory for your study. We call this as theory mapping and frequency analysis. Okay. So from here, I will actually know exactly which theory that I want to use. And this step is very important because this particular step, we will take this into chapter 2 when you're writing about underpinning theory. So whatever we are doing in preliminary study in the 4 months, all this will speed up our writing later for your chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So it's not a waste of time. So the four months, the first initial 4 months is just like you're doing your homework. So that when you start writing your chapter 2, chapter 1, chapter 3, it will going to speed up because all that you need for your chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, you're already doing during your preliminary study. That means you're already doing the preparation already. Okay. So it will actually speed up your this thing. Okay. Okay. So sorry, someone has something. Rizwan, what if I am the expert in my field? My research topic is about my observation in the industry. No, Rizwan, even though you are an expert in your field, but you still need to meet your experts from your industry. Yeah. So you have selected your topic because you have experience in that field, but you cannot become the expert, industrial expert. So we need third-party experts. Even your supervisor cannot become your expert. Your experts must come as a third party. Okay, Rizwan? So you can never justify during your PD, saying that I'm the expert in my field. We can't say that. So we always need third party to support.
So dear Prof, grant has nothing to do with that?
Sorry?
Grant has nothing to do with that?
What grant?
But
What grant?
I lost describe it. I lost the describe for it. It's like something like sponsor to go to go with the research. Yeah.
Sponsor, you just need to meet whatever requirement. I'm not talking about the grant and sponsor here. I'm just talking about writing your thesis. Yeah?
Sorry, Prof, my bad.
Because in PD, you cannot talk about grant and sponsors in your PD and in your Viva, right? So that is the external factor. So for the external factor, you need to just make sure that you follow whatever requirement that is required. I'm talking here is about the thesis part, yeah? So don't mix both because that requirements are different. Writing your thesis requirements are different. Okay?
Professor, I have a question.
Yes.
If the research is about in the education field, the school teachers, either the head of the panel can be considered as experts.
For this first step, teachers cannot become expert, but anyone who understand the education policy, education industry per se can become expert. That means they must be from a higher level for this. Because in quantitative study, we have 3 levels of industrial expert. This is the first phase, right? So this is the first phase. And then second phase will be when you develop, when you want to validate your questionnaire in chapter 3. The last one will be when you want to validate your hypothesis in your chapter 5. So we have 3 phases where we will use industrial experts. So this first one, you need to get someone who are in the industry at a higher level. Because, okay, example, sorry, who was just now? Sundar, is it?
Sundar.
Okay, Sundar, when you go and use a school teacher, and when you ask the school teacher about what is the latest policy that you're going to implement in Kementerian Pendidikan, do you think she can answer?
No.
No, so that is what I meant. So you need to meet someone at that position when you ask industrial level questions, they are able to answer. Maybe pengarah or ketua pengarah or timbalan pengarah or even ketua or head of department in Kementerian Pendidikan, someone like that. Okay, Sundar?
Understand, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Okay,
doctor, so doctor, one question, doctor.
Yes,
Tadi
Rizwan.
industrial need analysis kan. So apa it can be as a reference to our problem statement lah in chapter 1.
Yes, correct. So your industrial need will also support your problem statement in chapter 1. So yeah, definitely. So that's why I say for industrial need, we will report in chapter 1. After your background of the study, we will report our industrial need analysis and then only we will go into problem statement. So your problem statement kita akan kaitkan, we will relate back to our industrial need analysis as well. Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Once we have done our theory mapping, so we have already identified our theories. So based on the theory, we will know what kind of variables that we need to select because the theory, most of the theories will come with variables, right? Some theories will come with variables, some theories will come with the relationship, the explanation on the relationship between theory and the variable. So we will select only the variables which fit into the theory. Okay, so once you have done this, so you see preliminary report for you to complete your preliminary report, it will take about 2 weeks. After that, you do your theory mapping, it's another 3 weeks because you need about 50 papers to do your theory mapping. So once you have done that, you need another 4 weeks to do your variable mapping. So variable means to select your IV, to select your mediator, to select your moderator. Right? So it's not easy to select IV, mediator, moderator. Right now, the method that you're using is all tak betul. It's not really appropriate or not really perfect. So that's why halfway through you get stuck. Okay, I want to give you one example. Wait, show you. Let me draw one. One simple one lah, yeah. Okay, let's say this is my IV. So first IV is TD. Okay, second is EE, and then my DB is EP. Okay, new students. Do we have any new students here who just started? Anyone who just started?
Yeah.
Yes, doctor.
So you all understand or not when I draw like this?
Yeah.
Kalau faham, okay lah. Kalau tak, cuba-cuba faham ya. Initial stage will be slightly difficult to understand because research terms. Okay, let's say. Okay. Let me draw first. Sorry, I like to draw because when I draw, I feel easier to explain. Okay. Okay. So this is from one article. This one is from one article. Okay, this one is from one. Okay, I don't want to color lah. This is from one article. And then you read another article here. This one is third article. Here is fourth article. How many articles I have here?
Oh.
Okay, I read 4 articles. In all the 4 articles, okay, in all the 4 articles, I have framework. Okay, so what I did, easy way lah, easy way to come out with a framework. If you're doing quantitative, you need to have a framework, right? Correct? Correct or not?
Correct.
Correct. You need to have a framework. So easy way, I don't want to think a lot. So I have a shortcut now. Okay. So I have a shortcut. So what I did, so TD I take from here. Okay. And then this one, I take it as ST. Okay. And then this one, I take it as AI. Okay. And then this one, I take it as EP. Okay. Okay. This paper used theory SET. Okay. This one used SET. Okay. This paper used SIT. Okay, this paper used, let's say, I am simply putting the alphabets, TRX. Okay, and this paper used LMX. LMX. Okay, now, so TD, now for my framework, I want to use which theory? Because the theory that paper is using, the theory will explain the relationship of the variables, right? So now I'm using TD. Okay, which theory I need to use to explain my whole framework? Which is the best theory to use? Because you took variables from various papers. Okay, class, tell me. This is, most of you all do this, right? Betul tak?
Betul.
Correct? Hai, senyap terus. Okay, now which theory that I want to use?
SIT.
SIT. Why?
Because the DV.
Yeah, DV is coming here, but SIT doesn't explain relationship between TD with ST. In SIT, they are using JS and EE with ST, but I'm using ST with TD, AI, and AP, and none of it is in SIT. You see, when I say theory, theory must explain relationship between two variables, not just one variable.
Betul. Okay. IV and DV. Okay.
Kan? SIT, ST okay lah, tapi TD, AI, and EP dia tak masuk dalam SIT kan?
Betul.
So I cannot use SIT. Can I use SET? SET, TD saja, only TD. The others cannot. Okay, if I want to use TRX, only TD is there and ST, but it's not the relationship. So EP pun sama, LMX pun sama, AI dengan EP, but AI and EP is in the same position as IVs. They are not in a relationship.
Then we use combination of the theory. Doctor.
How many theory you want to combine? Even TD and ST ada tak? TD dengan ST tak ada?
Tak ada.
Tak ada. So TD and ST cannot be explained. AI with ST pun tak ada. AI with ST pun tak ada. EP dengan ST pun tak ada. No, what I'm trying to tell you is that
Sikit.
sometimes when you do this, you get excited, right? You get excited. You just read a few papers and then you simply take variables from all the papers and then you, like a jigsaw puzzle, you draw and then you are so happy and so proud of yourself. Doctor, I dah buat framework. I have done my framework in 2 days.
Macam tertampar, Doktor.
Right. Bangga pula tu. My framework is different from others, doctor. I'm excellent. First question I'm going to ask you, what is your theory to support? And then you get stuck. And this is what I call this. You know what I call this? I call this Tarzan method.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I call Tarzan method. So Tarzan method, easy to do in the beginning, but later you will cry. Yeah, later you cry because you don't know how to select the theory. Yeah. So how many of you all are Tarzans here? Admit lah. Eh? You cannot lie too long one. Right? Many of us do Tarzan method. Betul tak? Correct or not?
Betul.
Right?
Yes.
I'm Jane method. Sheila great. Tarzan and Jane. Okay. Right? Many of us do this. Please never do this. Yeah. Initially, you will move very fast, but once you come to select your underpinning theory, you get stuck. Right? You get stuck. So the best method is that we do theory mapping. We select the theory and then use the theory to select your variable because the theory will tell us about our variables. So example, TAM, theory of acceptance model. So theory of acceptance model like TAM, TPB, UTAUT, LMX, all these theories, they already have variables. We just need to use the variables which comes with the theory. The person who developed the theory have already developed the variables. So we just use that variables, but we need to make sure it fits into the context of our study. And that is the proper way of doing a theory. So that's why we do theory mapping. That is why we do a theory mapping here. So we work with theory. After we selected the theory will tell us what kind of variables that you can select. Understand? So okay lah, we are running short of time. I will just speed up a little bit. But future, if you have a chance, try to attend theoretical framework development class. We will actually have a lot of templates to actually do all these steps properly, and you will have a clear picture on that later part. Okay. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so once your variables all done, that means your framework is ready, right? Theory is ready, DB is ready, IB is also selected. So your framework is ready, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes,
Apa
your
dia
framework
punya?
is ready and your framework is very, very perfect. Why? Your framework is very strong. If you follow these steps, your research framework in quantitative becomes very strong. Why?
Because the DV and IV supported by the theory.
Yes, the DB and IB supported by the theory, and your DB is supported by industrial experts and literature review.
Yes, betul.
Right? So your DB is support. You didn't get the DB from Mimpi Malam, yeah? Yeah, you didn't suddenly dream, oh God, why you all, huh? Nah, tak ada. Right? So your DB came from where? Your DB came from literature review. And then you fine tune your DB by meeting the experts. So you already finalized, okay, my DB is a problem in the industry and my experts actually want us to do research on that. So you are able to justify to examiners very strongly why you selected that DB. So once you have a DB, use that DB, go and find what are the theories which popular in studying about your DB. So once you have your theory, based on the theory, you know, in this theory, what kind of IV mediator moderators that people usually use. So after you do all this, now your framework is very strong because the underlying of your framework is the theory and your DB is coming from the industrial gap. So this is how we develop a good framework. Now you know why this whole step, yeah, semua step ini, all these steps takes about 4 months. Now you know why we take 4 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Why so slow? Right?
Step a month.
So that is why we need this 4 months. Okay. Now, after you gain all these, now if you start writing your chapters, will you speed up?
Yes.
Yes, because all the information that you need in order for you to write actively, diligently, you already got in these 4 months. So that's why I always tell my students, don't, after you register, start writing. Do your preliminary study, right? And not only that, apart from that, try to do a to-do list. Okay, remember, PhD is something where you need to be very consistent. It is not something that Today I'm active, next 1 month I'm not active, right? There will be a lot of distractions during your study period. A lot, believe me, I have been there, right? A lot of distractions will keep coming. You know, the day that you want to write, somebody calls you for a dinner. The day you want to write, you fall sick. The day you want to write, your child is sick. You know, so much of challenges will come. You need to fight. Who asked you to do PhD? Did anybody beat you to do PhD?
Myself.
Sendiri cari pasal kan? Sendirilah kena buat. So you find, I always say lah, doing PhD is digging our own grave. Whether you're going to enter or whether you're going to come out is up to you. Okay, so we need to find ways, we need to find time. We cannot keep giving excuse saying that you don't have time because time is running, right? Betul lah semua. Sendiri cari pasal, sendiri kena cari jalan keluar juga ya. So we need to find time, we need to allocate time, we need to know. But very important is doing the structure. Many of you all, yes, you are doing. Every day you sit, but you don't know the structure. So when you don't know the structure, you waste a lot of time, right? And time is gold. You can't afford to waste time because doing PhD is not cheap. Even if you get a scholarship, HLP or scholarship, you still have to finish within the time frame. Otherwise, when you go back to work, it's going to become even tougher, right? So, and if you are a person paying your own fees every 4 months, 1 semester, the bill will come, right? You need to pay your bill. So nothing is free here. So that's why make sure you have a to-do list, manage your emotions, increase your energy, and forgive yourself for all the mistakes of you do. Don't sit down and keep crying, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, I didn't do this. Huh? So start moving, right? Okay, let's look into, I may overshoot a little bit, so the time, so don't rush and have plans at 10 o'clock, No teh tarik at 10, right? Anyone? Kedai mamak kan tutup lambat, can go teh tarik lambat sikit lah, ya. Okay, now let's graduate on time, okay? Semua nak graduate on time or not?
Yes.
Of course, right?
boleh.
Semua nak graduate. Tapi kata boleh aja tak cukup lah. Kena cuba juga kan. Right? So, if you want to graduate on time, it's not hard at all. Seriously, it's not hard. It's not hard to get a GOT, right? Okay, first thing, preliminary study, 4 months. Okay, I already break down the steps here, okay? Step number 1, you must do a preliminary study. Anyone missed the preliminary study, you need to use a reverse gear, go back and do a preliminary study, because your preliminary study, if it comes in your thesis, it carries a lot of weightage, and it is a very good justification to examiners that you have done your initial analysis. So if you have missed and you have already started writing your chapters, please take some time to go back lah, to do a reverse gear a little bit, and please do your preliminary, okay? So take the first step, meet the expert review, analyze the data, complete writing the need analysis finding, read articles to further enhance your understanding on your focus area, do your theoretical mapping and variable mapping, and develop your theoretical framework. So this is what we call as fit-wit, right? So in case in future you are stuck, you want to attend a workshop, if you come across any workshop because fit-wit is an acronym created by me lah, no one else will use fit-wit out there. So if you see fit-wit and if you have time, try to join, because I give a complete 7-step templates and a proper way to develop a framework, okay? So once we have done this will take 4 months, okay? First 4 months of your study. Once we have done your framework is very, 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 very strong. I have also suggested under each step, which workshop is the appropriate workshop. Please don't simply attend workshops. Don't simply waste money attending this, that. End of the day, you feel that just waste of money and you never learn anything. So be more structured. Okay, class, 2 things I don't do. I don't like to market myself because I'm a person, when I start, I teach. Second, I don't force you to attend my workshops. So these are all suggested topics, not by me, right? These are suggested. Under every step I have suggested the workshops that you attend, not my workshop. You can attend anybody's workshop. As long as you attend, you learn and you do that particular step in a more effective way, okay? So step 1, try to attend your quantitative studies, understand what is quantitative, and then try to attend theoretical framework development. So if anybody offering on about how to develop a good theoretical framework development, step 1, you should attend, okay? After you finish these 4 months of preliminary study, now we move to step 2. Okay, why I never start with chapter 1? Why after step 1, I supposed to go to chapter 1. Why am I starting with chapter 2? Okay, in preliminary study, when you identify your framework, you already identify what are your IVs, mediators, moderators, DV, right? But is your knowledge in this variable in depth?
No.
No. So that's why we start with chapter 2. Chapter 2 is where you will start writing every variable. So example, I give you a simple table of contents. Sekejap, just create one thing. Okay. Okay, I go back here. Okay, I'll give you a simple table of content for chapter 2, yeah? Is it big enough for you to see?
Okay, good.
So this is 2.1 is just chapter introduction. 2.2 will be underpinning theory, yeah? So under your underpinning theory, we will have three parts. 2.2.1 is theory mapping. Where did you do your theory mapping? You already do in your preliminary, right? You know, the first 4 months, I say when you do your preliminary study, you will be doing your theory mapping.
Yes, yes.
You already do this. This part is only reporting. Okay, we are only reporting. 2.2.2 will be theory selection. Okay, and then 2.2.3 will be your A, B, C theory lah. Whatever theory that you have selected, right? You need to write about the theory, the history of the theory, the characteristics of the theory. This is where you will write the history of whatever theory that you have selected from your mapping, your history of the theory, and then your characteristics of the theory. And very important one is how the theory is relevant to your study. And this is the part many students are very weak. This part. Yeah, many are very weak, sorry. Okay. Okay, many students are very weak in this part. Okay. Need to, I think. Okay. Okay, so once we have done that, 2.2. So everything that you need to do for your 2.2, we already done in your preliminary. So this is the part where you just have to update. And then 2.3 will be your DV. You will write about your definition and conceptualization of DV, your dependent variable, whatever, you need to define your DV and you need to conceptualize your DV. So for this part, you need to do your SLR, your systematic literature review, and then you also have to do your thematic analysis here, yeah, for your DV. So you need to go very deep into, so you have to read a lot about your DV and then you will do a proper SLR and thematic analysis and blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then 2.4 will be your IV. Each IV you need to write. 2.5 your second IV. 2.6 will be your third IV. After that, 2.7 will be your mediator. Okay, 2.8 if you have your moderator. Now moderator is like a fashion. So you cannot use mediator, moderator as a question. You need LR justification why you're introducing a mediator or why you're introducing a moderator. So there is 2 justification for each. I don't have time to explain today, but please bear in mind, we cannot simply use mediator, moderator because as we suruh, this person asked me to add, that person added, yeah. You need strong justification. So the thing is that if you are introducing a mediator between your IV, DB, there must be consistent finding. If you're using a moderator, there will be an inconsistent finding, yeah? Okay, and then 2.9 will be your research gap. Okay, we need to write about our research gap. So for research gap also, we have thematic and schematic gap analysis. Okay, so this one also we will have to read a lot and there are proper way of doing it lah, yeah. Okay, and then 2.10 will be your research framework. Okay, research framework, and then 2.11 will be your hypothesis development. Okay, hypothesis development, and then only 2.12 will be your chapter summary. Okay. Now, can you, in order to do your chapter 2, can you do this without reading?
Cannot.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to read a lot about
Cannot,
each
cannot.
individual variable you need to read. For doing every part, example for 2.3, you need to read about 30 to 50 papers. Okay. You need about 30 to 50 papers. For each IV, another 30 to 50 papers. Okay. Right? So for every single thing, you need to read and read and read and read. So after you finish reading and writing and writing and writing, after you finish your chapter 2, when you go to your chapter 1, will your chapter 1 become very easy for you?
Yeah,
Yes or no?
but
Very easy.
but chapter 1 always changing.
No. If you finish your chapter 2 and then go to chapter 1, that means in your chapter 2, if you have done a proper SLR thematic analysis, your gap analysis, everything, your chapter 1 will never change, will be very, very strong. Believe me, I have taught many students my method.
Okay.
The reason why your chapter 1 keep changing because you start with chapter 1, after that only you come to chapter 2. So when you do chapter
Yeah.
read a lot, my chapter 1, I write this wrongly, you will go back and change. Go back and change.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So that is the reason why we keep telling you don't write chapter 2 first. Sorry, don't write chapter 1 first. Do your chapter 2. Chapter 2 is very in-depth. Yeah. Chapter 2 is very in-depth. So when you go in-depth reading about every single variables and then you do thematic and then you do SLR, everything done, then you go to chapter 1, you know exactly what is your background of the study, you know exactly what to write in your problem statement. Because in chapter 1, there's 2 killer. The killer is background of the study and your problem statement. Others are okay. Others like contribution, limitation, research question, research objective. When you finish your theoretical framework in step 1, you can automatically do your research question, research objective, and hypothesis development. If your framework is strong, yeah, guys, if your framework is strong, for you to write your research question, research objective, and hypothesis, it only takes 30 minutes. Believe me, all those students who have attended my class, you will know. You will only take 30 minutes to write your research question, research objective, and hypothesis. 30 minutes only. If your framework is right and good, right? Because your research question, research objective, and your hypothesis come from your framework, basically. So that one we actually do very fast. So start writing your chapter 2. So how many months you need to do your chapter 2? We need 2 months. Okay, we need about 2 months because chapter 2 is heavy, a lot of reading. And those who are planning for publication, yeah, chapter 2 itself, you can get about 5 to 6 SLR papers or bibliometric papers. We can write every variable, you can actually write 1 paper. SLR paper. And that SLR that you're doing will also support your writing. Will also support your writing. Okay. So you can actually do a lot of, publish a lot of papers using your chapter 2. So because you do it very thorough. So for this class, for this step, the most important class that you need to attend is writing chapter 2. You must attend because many people struggle with chapter 2. They don't know how to write a proper LR. And mostly you do direct reporting. Direct reporting cannot, yeah, because you as a researcher, you need 3 skills. You need to know how to analyze, synthesize, argument. So these are 3 skills that you must be good at. And during my class, I usually teach my students on sandwich method. Yeah. So sandwich method is a very good method on how to write very critically. Yeah. So you need to analyze, synthesize, and build your argument. So once you have finished your chapter 2, now only we go to step number 3. We start writing chapter 1. You see, chapter 1, I only give you 1 month. Very fast, actually, we can write your chapter 1. If you finish your preliminary study and if you have done your literature review, that means you have done your chapter 2. To write your chapter 1 is very fast because problem statement and background of the study, you can actually write very fast because you have done a lot of reading in step 1 and step 2. So that will actually align your writing. And mostly in my class, when we are writing our background and problem statement, I use a funnel approach. So from something big, we deduce into becoming exactly what we want. Okay. So when you are in step 3, please attend your writing chapter 1 class and start attending Smart PLS for beginners if you are planning to use Smart PLS in analyzing your data in chapter 4. So whatever software lah, yeah. So usually when you start your thesis, right, you already know exactly what kind of analysis you want to do, whether you want to do Smart PLS or whether you want to use SPSS or whether you are using secondary data analysis. So usually you will have a plan. So whatever method that you want to use for your data analysis, you must attend when you are in step 3. Why? I'm not going to analyze my data in step 3. I'm only going to analyze my data when I am in step 5. Step 6. Because I haven't collected my data yet, right? Only in step 6, I will be analyzing my data. So that is the time I need to know what software, how to use the software that I have selected. But why am I asking y'all to attend your class so early? Because after your chapter 1, which chapter you will write? Chapter 3, right?
3.
After your chapter 1, you're going to write chapter 3. So in your chapter 3, you need to write about data analysis technique. So if you're using Smart PLS, you need to write in your chapter 3 all the steps that you are going to use in chapter 3. Sorry, in your chapter 4. In your chapter 3, we need to write what technique we are using, what kind of test that we are going to do. So if you don't understand anything about Smart PLS, can you write your chapter 3 or not? Can or not? You will simply copy paste only lah, but you don't know exactly what you're doing. And sometimes in your PD, if you're very unlucky, if your examiners are the Smart PLS champions, so they can actually ask a lot of questions and you are not able to answer, right? So you need to familiarize yourself. Before start writing your chapter 3, please familiar yourself with whatever software you plan to use. Not only Smart PLS, because some of you use Smart PLS. Majority quantitative students are using Smart PLS, but some of them just using SPSS. Some of y'all are using doing secondary data, so you have your own software. So whatever software that you plan to use, make sure when you are in step 3, start attending the class for beginners first. So that when you have the knowledge what is Smart PLS is all about, what is SPSS is all about, for you to write the steps in chapter 3 will become very much easier. Okay, so for you to finish your chapter 1 is only 1 month. 4 weeks, you can finish your chapter 1 because whatever you need for chapter 1, you already gained during your step 1 and step 2. Okay, so now total 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 1, 7 months. Yeah, okay, and then for chapter 3, then only we move to chapter 3. Chapter 3 will take a little bit longer time. It takes about 2 months because questionnaire development. So the rest of it is quite fast. Research paradigm, research design, population sampling, all this is quite fast. But for you to develop your questionnaire, and some universities, you have to submit your questionnaire for ethic clearance. So that will also take a little bit of time. And questionnaire development will also go through expert review for validation purpose. So when you design your questionnaire, you need to go and validate with experts, right? So all that will take a little bit of time. So roughly it will take about 3 to 4 months, sorry, 2 to 3 months, your chapter 3. So during your chapter 4, you need to go attend how to develop a proper questionnaire, because if you are quantitative, your killer is your questionnaire. Yeah, your killer is your questionnaire. Okay, so any mess that you make your questionnaire, you're going to cry with your data analysis. Okay. Okay, I will share the slides after the class, yeah. No, during PD and for PD, usually they won't ask us to show the steps, but they will sometimes just ask, can you tell what kind of smart PLS steps you're doing, that kind of thing. But chapter for Viva, yes, if they doubt about what you have done or something like that, they may ask you to run and show, but very unlikely. But they may if they doubt something something is fishy or anything, they may ask you to run the results and show. But so far, I've not heard, but so far my students have not reported that, but I heard from other lecturers. Okay. Okay, after the class, I will share with you all the slides. Okay. Okay. So, and then once you finish your methodology and everything, then only step 5, you will prepare for your proposal defense. Okay. So plus minus 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 3. So 9 plus 3 is 12. So in 1 year, if you follow my steps, in 1 year, within 1 year, you can actually go for your proposal defense and do your correction. Okay. So once your correction, everything is done in 1 year, the next is you start doing your chapter 4. So chapter 4, why I put 3 months, it can be 3 to 4 months or even 5 months, because you need to collect your data. So this is where you collect your data. So once you collect your data, seriously, let's say you're using Smart PLS. If you already learned your Smart PLS beginner and intermediate in your chapter 3, chapter 4, your chapter 4, when you collect your data, you can analyze your data within 1 week. Like I wrote my chapter 4 in 5 days because I already mastered Smart PLS way back. In fact, I was helping a lot of my seniors with their data analysis. So for me, Smart PLS was just like eating a peanut. So for me, when I was writing, once I collected my data, I only took 5 days to complete my chapter 4 and 2 weeks to complete my chapter 5. So that's why we need to prepare in advance. There are many students up to now, they collected data. After that, only they want to attend Smart PLS, and they found many things which you're supposed to do in your data collection, but they didn't do. So they have to recollect the data. So there are a lot of information you need to know before even you develop your questionnaire about Smart PLS. So better to attend early and understand so that you will be more prepared. Okay. So once in step 6, you need to also attend how to write your chapter 5. And in your step 7, which is about 2 months, this is where you will finish up your chapter 5. And then you can finish your chapter 5 within 2 to 3 weeks. But why I give you 2 months is that once you finish your chapter 5, now you need to relook at your whole thesis. You need to align your chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, because you're finished. You're going to submit for your Viva, right? So when you want to submit for your Viva, you need to re-look whether your chapter 1 until chapter 5 has a proper alignment or not. So that will take about 2 months, because in that 2 months, you need to align all your chapters. You have to do formatting. You need to check for your plagiarism. You need to check for, all your citations and everything, all those things. And the last step is your best step. We are submitting for our Viva. Now, when you come to step 8, excited or not? Excited or not?
Excited.
So once you finish your Viva and they announce you got a minor correction, Shabas, now you're a doctor. So I'm also expecting the good news from y'all. If y'all still remember me, definitely y'all will text me and say, Doctor, I got a minor correction in my Viva. Wow, that's amazing, right? Correct? Not correct, ah? Of course lah, right?
Correct, correct.
Correct. Asma for masters also is the same Asma, but it's just that the in-depth can be a bit more shallow lah for masters, you know. So example, like for IB, for PhD, we want at least minimum 7 to 8 variables. Maybe for masters will be about 4 to 5. But the whole process is still the same. Just the in-depthness will be a bit less for masters. Okay. And a bit more shorter time. Actually, for masters, you can finish within 1.5 years. Okay. Okay, a quick one before, oh, we only have 4 minutes. Can you give me about 10 minutes more? Boleh?
Can.
And just 10 minutes, okay? So these are the steps for your preliminary study, which I say 4 months, right? Step number 1, identify your focus area. What's your interest? Please never put the step 1 into your supervisor's hand. You are the master of your research. Please select your area, not your supervisor's area, yeah? So once you have done that, read about 30 to 50 papers. Okay, once you finish reading the 30 to 50 papers, go and meet your experts, between 5 to 9 experts, and then start designing your need analysis form, and then conduct the interview, complete your analysis, and start reading about your DV and establish the correct terminology. Okay, so next will be your 4-step plan to identify the most relevant theory. Okay, so what are your theories? So you need to read about 50 to 100 papers, do mapping, and based on the mapping, we can actually finalize what theory that we want to use. So once you have done your mapping, now you already selected the theory. Based on the theory, you can do your variable mapping. So what are the variables that, based on your theory, what are the best variables that you can use as your IV, as your mediator, as your moderator? So once you have done that, that means you have completed your framework. Then we will move to, so all these are until here, we are doing what? We are doing our preliminary study. So once we have completed our preliminary study in the first 4 months, now we have come to our chapter 2. So in chapter 2, what is the roadmap? You need to write about your underpinning theory, which you get from your preliminary. You need to define and conceptualize all your variables, including your DV, IVs, mediator, moderator. So defining and conceptualizing them is a very crucial thing. There is a way on how, the definition is quite straightforward, but conceptualizing, many students don't understand how to conceptualize. So please pay attention on how to conceptualize. We cannot take any explanation about our variable directly from papers. So the explanation must fit into our context of the study. So that is the most important part. And then we need to also report our gap. Chapter 2, the weightage of chapter 2 depends on our gap. So gap is actually very, very important. So we can actually do gap mapping, thematic mapping, schematic mapping, and linking gap to problem statement. Okay, 1 minute.
Sampai ke 10 je. Tekan biasa mana?
Can you all mute yourself? Just give me 1 minute, yeah. No, I don't have it. Okay. Okay. So this is the mapping, which is very important, which we supposed to do in chapter 2. Okay. So your thematic gap must link to your problem statement in chapter 1. Thematic gap we will do in chapter 1. Chapter 2. And then this thematic gap, which we do in chapter 2, it must be aligned to your problem statement in your chapter 1. And your problem statement must align. Because of the problem, I want to find answers for my research questions. And because of this research question, I developed this hypothesis to be tested. So this is where, if you are able to align in this, do the alignment in this, that means your gap aligned to your problem statement. Problem statement is the one which will make us to develop our research question. and our research question is aligned to hypothesis. Then only we see that your thesis and your research is structured. So right now, all the students have these 4, but there's no alignment. So when I read your gap, I don't know. When I read your gap and when I read your problem statement, it's like 2 different worlds. And then after I read your problem statement, I read your research question. I don't know why you want to, why you raise this research question, because your research question doesn't align with your problem statement. And your hypothesis is also not reflecting on your research question. If you have that issue, you are in your serious problem now. Okay, you are in a serious problem now. So that means there's no alignment. Okay, so that is very important. Linking gap to problem statement and research question is very, very important. Okay, so once we have done this, we move on to propose our research framework, do your hypothesis development and summary of your hypothesis. This is what we cover in chapter 2. So what do we cover in chapter 1? So after finishing your chapter 2, we'll start writing our chapter 1. So in chapter 1, what do we write? You write our background of the study. After that, we need to write research need analysis. You know, the industrial need analysis we did in our preliminary study, we will report in chapter 2 here, chapter 1, sorry, right? So conduct a need analysis, report the findings of the analysis, and it helps to justify your gap and problem statement. So after you report your research need analysis, then only we write your problem statement. After that, we, based on the problem statement, we'll develop our research question, research objective, and then significance of the study and key term definition. So this is chapter 1. So once we have done chapter 1, we will go into chapter 3. So in chapter 3, we will write about our research paradigm, research design. This one, you definitely have to attend a research methodology class. Please don't simply copy paste from other people's thesis. It's not wrong, but attend methodology class at least once so that you know exactly what methodology that you need to adapt into your study. Okay, because this is a very, because your chapter 3 is your research design. So it must relate to your study, and many questions in PD, PD will come from your chapter 3. So chapter 3 is the one which will determine whether you pass your PD or get a major correction in your PD, or sometimes even re-PD or fail. So because this is the architecture of your research. Actually, until chapter 3, we have not done our research yet. It's just a plan. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 is just a research plan. Chapter 4, when you start collecting data, that is when your research actually starts. You are doing your research. So 1, 2, 3, chapter 1, 2, 3 is just your research plan. And 3 is very critical because 3 will tell us whether the architecture that you're going to use is correct or wrong. Okay? So we need to be very careful. Maybe sometimes students make mistake. First part, you say you're doing probability sampling. After that, you say you're doing purposive method. So purposive doesn't come under probability. Purposive sampling comes under non-probability. So there itself we made a big mistake already. So all these you need to understand. So read a lot of methodology book, and if time permits, then try to attend methodology classes at least once. You don't have to attend 10 times a methodology class, just once. You know what you're doing, you know what to select, you know how to justify, fine, you're good to go. Okay. And then what is your unit of analysis? And believe me, until people finish thesis also, they don't know what is a unit of analysis. So unit of analysis means each respondent is representing as individual or on a firm level. And all your theory selection, everything follow your unit of analysis, okay? And then you will do your questionnaire development, data analysis method. Okay? Okay, after that, your chapter 4. So your chapter 4 is another 3 months where you need to do, once you collect your data, you need to do data cleaning, data coding, after that data preparation, and then only you analyze your data and you do your reporting for your hypothesis, whether your hypothesis is accepted or rejected. Okay, and chapter 5, once you get your results for your hypothesis, this is the chapter 5, you need to do your discussion. Whether your hypothesis is supported or not supported, everything has to be a why. Supported, why? Using a mini literature review. So your literature review doesn't stop in chapter 2, yeah guys. So don't get excited after finish writing your chapter 2. When you come to chapter 5, you need to realign your literature review again. Whatever you stated in your chapter 2, you need to revisit again when you are in chapter 5 to see the results you get and what you written in your chapter 2 aligns or not. So your chapter 5 is another mini literature review. And this is tough because you need to revisit your chapter 2. Okay. So in your chapter 5, you need to have introduction, recapitulation, discussions of the finding. So discussion of the finding is very, very crucial. And theoretical implication, practical limitation, recommendation, and chapter summary. Okay. And yeah. So aligning your thesis, you see, chapter 2 will be aligned, chapter 3 will be aligned to chapter 2. All the chapters will be alignment. Chapter 5 aligns to your chapter 4. And chapter 5 also aligns to your chapter 2. Because when you're writing your chapter 4, it's based on chapter 4. Sorry, when you're writing your chapter 5, it's based on chapter 4. And chapter 5, when you're writing your chapter 5, you need to revisit your chapter 2. So chapter 4 aligns with chapter 3 because whatever method that you have stated within your chapter 3, that is the method that you are going to adapt in chapter 4 in analyzing your data. So chapter 3 depends on what you have written in your chapter 2 and chapter 1. And chapter 2 will determine your chapter 1. So all chapters are linked. So if any one chapter goes wrong, it will definitely affect the other chapters. So you can never go wrong in any chapter because every chapter is equally important. Okay, guys? Okay. Welcome, Maria. No worries, Tharman. You can still meet me. Okay.
Doctor, I have question at the chat box.
Yes.
I want to ask if at the preliminary stage, should we already have the rough idea of what the IV and the DV will involve in our research to avoid a broad reading?
Not IV because your DV only. IV comes later after you identify your theory. So for preliminary part, for first part, before you meet your industrial expert, what is important is to have a rough DV, draft focus area.
All right, thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Okay, Zahara, let me read the questions. Zahara, is it true that using only SPSS without SM is not enough for a master or a PhD study? There is no book saying this, but many examiners and SW say this, okay? So there are still students who just use SPSS. In fact, with SPSS alone, you can finish your data analysis. But the problem is now SPSS is first generation statistics. SAM is second generation. So because we are in second generation, many of the examiners prefer you to use SAM, but there's no such thing that SPSS is not sufficient. You can do with SPSS, but again, I will ask you to go back to your supervisor lah ya. Kalau supervisor nak SAM, then guna SAM lah ya. Okay ke, Sarah? Azrina, Bazir time almost 1 month plus, Dani. Thank you, doctor, for the tips. It's okay. Baru 1 bulan setengah. Boleh speed up lagi ya. Okay. Can I look at chapter 4, doctor? Shidi, what do you mean by chapter 4? Yang ini ke? Okay, now masters also need to meet expert. Asma, for masters, you don't have to do the expert review kalau tak nak. Kalau buat, bagus, but not compulsory lah, Asma. Yeah. Okay, just before we call off the day, yeah. Yeah, I will share the slides in the this thing
Doctor?
later. Yes.
Doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm my name is Sam. I'm attending this class from Nigeria.
Oh, yes.
I want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity. To me, it's an eye opener, and I want to know. I follow your link on Telegram. I noticed you're selling some recorded classes in it. I want to know, all of them, are they in English?
Some are in English, some are in BM, some are mixed. So if you want to buy any recording, you just message me, Sam, then I'll tell you whether it is suitable for you or not.
Oh, great. Then in the coming days ahead, are you having any other classes?
Sorry?
In the coming days ahead, next week, are you having other class session paid
yeah,
for?
yeah, these are the 2 upcoming classes that I have. One is this weekend, which is 21, 22, 23. All these classes are actually hybrid classes. So you can come face to face, which is in Ipoh, which I'm sure from Nigeria you can't come, but you can also join it on online. And these classes are all in English because I have students from other countries joining as well.
Do you have any recent for literature review chapter 2? Because I noticed you are advertised at mass proofs.
Okay, literature, if you just want to focus on chapter 2 alone, you can refer to this. Chapter 2 is in, sorry, where is chapter 2? On 19 and 21st December, we have 3 days class only on chapter 2. So later I will send the slide. So it's in the slide letter. You can take a look and then you can text me, Sam.
All right, then, Doc, I noticed Max proofreaders? It's like they're advertising your course in that platform.
Yes, they also advertise that you can actually join it from anywhere.
Oh, great, thank you. But it's going to be done in English?
Yes, most of my classes, if I know that the class have any expatriates or foreign students, I will do it in English.
Thank you so much, Doc. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, Alwani, yes. Alwani semua kelas ini ya, kelas-kelas yang ada dekat sini. For chapter 1, chapter 2, everything is suitable for any students, whether you're in first sem, second sem, third sem, semua sama je. Because I'll be teaching from the very basic and all my classes, I have prepared templates. Template is to help you to be more structured. Okay, example, yeah, I show you all before we end the class. Yeah, I just show you all one example. Okay. You see, this is the templates that I have prepared for chapter 1. So those who attend chapter 1, you will get all these templates. You'll get the templates for industrial need analysis, and also you will get all the templates. So I will teach using the templates, like example, like background of the study. So this is the template on how to write a proper background of the study. So everything is based on template because I love to teach using templates because it's more structured and you will never go wrong. Yeah. So when you use templates, you will never go wrong, right? So that is why I usually use template. And for coaching classes, like, weekend classes, mostly 3 days, is because my class is quite small. And I will go through everybody. Everybody will present and I will immediately correct everybody's work, how you should improvise, where you are making mistakes. So this is what I do in my classes, okay? Okay, class, it's already 10:15. Sorry, one more question. Hifzan, kalau problem statement tidak kuat, adakah perlu mengubah topik? Tak ada, jangan ubah topik, tapi kena ubah problem statement. Cara nak report problem statement tu, you kena ubah sikit. Yeah? It's not about topic. Yeah? Okay? But again, Hifzan, kalau problem statement tak kuat because there's no gap. That means in your topic, we cannot find any gap. Then maybe you need to revisit your topic lagi sekali lah, ya. That is why, Hifzan, I keep telling, please do your preliminary study. Preliminary study is an eye-opener. It will show us a lot of things so that we can avoid a lot of mistakes in later part, okay? So class, thank you so much. Can we take a group photo, if you don't mind?
I have one, if you don't mind, dear Prof.
Yes, sure.
What if, imagine, or let's assume that the candidate's working all the way and he reached to chapter 4 for doing his data, but the result came totally opposite than his idea. In this case, will this count as like his paper will be rejected, or is like all his effort has been demolished?
What do you mean by that? Are you saying that all his hypothesis is not supported?
It's like, yeah, it's like all the answers, like instead of agree, it's all total like disagree going on, like opposite way.
Not, we won't say that all will go wrong. If you affect, and that's the reason why I say that you need to do a preliminary study, establish a proper establish a proper framework. And also in your chapter 2, you need to know you have to do a proper hypothesis development based on literature review. Then there's unlikely all your hypotheses will be opposite. Maybe some yes, some no. So if all your hypothesis is not supported, that means something is wrong from your earlier part. That means you didn't do a proper hypothesis development. Your theory may not be appropriate. So there must be strong reasons for that. Impossible for all hypotheses not supported. Hai Farul, apa khabar? Senyap aja Farul.
Ya, ada doktor.
Okay, class Farul is my student. Is already going for his Viva soon. Let's all wish him good luck. So, doctor to be
Good luck.
good luck. Okay. Okay. If you can on your camera, that will be great. So we can take a group photo. Hi Sharanjit, nice to see you again.
Yes, doktor.
Okay. Farul pun tolong ambil gambar ya Farul.
Alright.
Okay. 1, 2.
Wait, dia tak nampak.
Siapa tak nampak?
Tak nampak the entire class.
Oh yeah, I think you need to move to the next slide. We cannot fit in everybody.
Wait, okay, great. Okay.
Farul ambil ya semua. Alah, senyum lah. Janganlah muka masam semua. Ini macam muka waiwa je ni. Nak pergi waiwa ke ni?
The other one stress.
Okay, done, Farul?
Wait, another one. Okay. Smile. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody. Class, tomorrow I will share the slides and the recording in our WhatsApp group. Yeah, thank you and wish you all the best. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
doctor.
doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doktor.
Thank you, doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you very